What's up, y'all? Welcome to Christ Culture, the
Yo,
podcast.
yo.
I'm Kiana, your host,
I'm Calvin.
and we are in season 2.
Dos.
Yes, today's episode, we're going to be talking about the power of feeding your spirit.
Yeah, nice little start to a series we got coming.
Yes, what to do, how to fill it up, and what to do when you're feeling empty
Yeah, because sometimes your spirit gets hungry.
or hangry.
Mm.
Tune in, y'all.
Yeah, here we go.
What's up? 3 hours later, season 2, baby. We
Yeah,
out here.
I feel like season 2 started like 4 hours ago,
Yeah,
but we just...
it's a whole day event. That's
It
why.
is. Did you enjoy the little setup I had for you
I
guys?
did. So Calvin, we all got here on time because we always get here on time.
Yeah.
By that, I mean like 20, 30 minutes late. Anyways, we get here and then he's like, you guys have to wait outside because we're doing something inside.
Yep.
Come in, there's like balloon arrangement. There's this beautiful brunch layout. These wonderful croissants and like
Yeah.
hydrangeas in like these crystal balls.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a vibe.
Yeah, shout out. It's the Love Way on Instagram. She helped me set all this up.
I love that.
Yeah, it was dope. The balloons actually came from an event we did yesterday, but we were like, we could reuse
Oh,
those.
okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, he spent money on us today.
No,
Jeez.
everything else was money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
That's
it was just
awesome.
something I wanted to do for you guys, start off season 2 the right way.
Well, we appreciate you.
Yeah, of course. Of
Doesn't go
course.
unnoticed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we in here season 2.
Can you believe that?
It's literally a new season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a pun, but like
Yeah.
a new season 2, but it's a new season.
Yep.
I'm grateful.
That's a good word for it.
I'm grateful. I am grateful.
Yeah.
A lot.
When we started out, we didn't see this, but it's so crazy that we're sitting here on episode 11 technically.
Technically, yeah.
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 That's wild.
Yeah. I know. I just like, I wonder what episode 100 is going to look like. That milestone. Let's get to 50 first. But
yeah.
like,
Let's get to 12.
once we just start breaking milestones. I mean, episode 10 was a milestone in its own, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just excited to see where this really, really goes.
Yeah. Every week it seems like when we first started, the question I always had was like, am I going to have something to say
Yeah.
every week?
Yeah.
And then I look back at it, I'm like, man, we talk for like an hour
Right.
every time and then we have to stop.
Right. Remember when we thought like our episodes would be like 20 minutes?
Yeah.
We're like,
I remember
okay,
that.
like we'll do a pilot. Okay, so our pilot's going to be like 20 minutes. Maybe it went to like 22
Yeah.
minutes, but like strong hour.
Hours.
Strong
And it's
hour.
not, yeah, it's crazy. It's a blessing. It's a blessing that God's able to use us like that
Oh, yeah.
every single week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say that like us taking the sleep has strengthened my faith in a way that it almost forces me to put things into application.
Mm.
And it also enhances the way that I walk throughout the week.
Yep.
Because I can't not even preach, but I can't like speak on something and then go and do the opposite. Like
Yeah.
it keeps me accountable to not be my own hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
Which I enjoy as well.
Yeah.
I love a good challenge.
Absolutely.
I love a good challenge.
Yeah. Speaking of challenges, did you do any like New Year's resolutions, anything like that?
So usually I'll set like new goals for the year.
Yep.
And then what I find is that I fall off in some type of way.
Okay.
I mean, like most people do, but like I'm deciding to look at my year as quarters
Okay.
instead of like a whole year because
Yeah.
the year is overwhelming to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like even looking back at December, I'm like, I don't even remember what my word was in January. Like it doesn't carry through the entire year for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at 3 months at a time. So like from January to the end of March, like
Okay.
what are my goals and how am I going to crush them? So yeah, I mean, to answer your question, staying consistent in my businesses,
Yep.
with Holy Sweat and then with Keygenics, which is my photo creation
Yep.
company, just staying consistent with that, whether it's creating on a consistent basis or like outreaching to other brands to work with or reaching out to other like clientele or types of things like that, but just feeding into my business, like fueling it
Yeah.
as much as I can, and then also letting God help me do the rest.
Yeah. That's the big part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
Mm-hmm. A whole lot of stuff going on. I think we were talking the other day and I was like, man, it's just been a lot already.
It's been like 14 days,
Yeah,
15 days
started
actually.
off real strong,
Yeah.
like you said,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm grateful for it. I won't say I made the mistake, but I prayed to God at the beginning of the year and I said, I'm ready for all that stuff you've been waiting to give me.
He said,
And he
great.
said, huh? Okay. And he started to pour some stuff out, man. And just the opportunities that I've gotten already, and they just keep coming. And
Yeah.
then I, finished that 100-day walk I talked about last season. And I was like, well, what do I do now? And the next day I was kind of lost. And the next day I was kind of lost. And I was looking for something to do. And I was like, I got to figure out my next fight. So I decided that I was going to start getting up at 4:30 and going to the gym.
Ooh.
So I did that all week. And
Yes.
yeah, I barely slept this week.
I'm rooting for you.
Yeah. And then I was like, well, I was walking before, so I can go to the gym, but I could also start running. So I started running this week, and it's
In the
going.
cold?
Nah. Eventually, I'll go outside. I've been in the gym now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was about to say.
So the goal eventually is going to be to do 100 days running, like I did the walking. So I'm gonna get myself to that point.
Do you have a time limit on that, or you just run?
No, I just run.
You just run.
Yeah, for now, just building the air back up. And
So like
the
you could
wind.
do a sprint for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And that counts for the day?
No.
Okay.
No, I usually like a mile minimum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. No walking in that mile.
No, not at all.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So I've been doing that this week, and yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah.
So
I root you on for that because I did that
Mhm.
for a strong month. I did 4 weeks. I did.
Mhm.
And what I did like about waking up so early is that you have the rest of your day.
Yeah.
Like your day are like automatically gets 3 hours longer for some reason.
Yep.
Maybe because you're waking up 3 hours earlier.
Yeah.
Right. But like you actually have more time to do things. And like I would find myself like I'll go to the gym, come home, eat breakfast, make a smoothie or whatever, and then like get in my word and then everything like and then it's only 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And now I'm actually starting my day.
That's crazy, right?
You know?
Yeah.
Because, like, if I wake up and then, like, I'm easing out of bed and then I'll go, like, okay, I'll start to do this and then I'll
Yep.
take a shower and then I'll make breakfast. Then it's like 11 o'clock and I'm
Yeah.
like, wait,
Yeah.
it's already lunchtime, but I just had breakfast.
I got to work on Monday, and I was talking to the guy, somebody, and they were like rushing. They were like just getting into the office.
Uh-huh.
They're like, man, I was late and blah, blah, blah. And I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, dang, I've been up for like 5 hours already.
Right.
Yeah. So it's going pretty well, though. It's going pretty well. It's actually part of I'm doing a 40-day fast.
Nice.
So just modifying some of the diet and no social media. So I've really not been on social media from a certain time to a certain time. But yeah, I was like, well, a fast is really just sacrificing for God, right?
Mhm.
Finding some way to show your devotion to Him. And I was like, well, as you know, my diet's already pretty strict. So I was like, I don't want to restrict that more necessarily. So I was trying to think of what I could sacrifice. And I was like, well, I could sacrifice my comfortability.
Mhm.
So I can get up early and go to the gym when I'm dog tired
Yeah.
every morning. So I've been doing that and it's going well. And then after the gym, me and a friend do a devotional. And so it's been a good week in that aspect. I just got to figure out how to get some sleep with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like finding the right system.
Yes.
Because I feel like, too, like, without only being 15 days into the year,
Yep.
like, I had a really great end to 2022.
Mhm.
When I say great end, it was like I was finding the right systems that worked for me to stay productive and also
Yeah.
stay mindful.
Mm.
And I think I took 9 days off for a vacation.
Yep.
For a holiday, and it just reset where I'm like, I forgot how to do anything. And so coming back, I'm like, okay, like mentally, I'm still in that zone of like, okay, I'm gonna have these systems in, but then my body's like, no, we want to relax still. So then it's been kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
I would say getting this year started because I'm very intentional with the things that I want to do. But what I find is that I was getting so heavy into these are the things that I am doing rather than like, it's almost like you have somebody being like, okay, let me take credit for that. Let me take credit for that. I'm like, no, I got it. I'm doing it myself. And then
Yeah.
you're like going crazy and then I'm getting burnt out. And I'm like, it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How am I getting burnt out?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh.
Because that's your power. Not
Right.
his.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's really what we're talking about today. And I was like, what a perfect topic to start, especially like coming into the new year. And like,
Yeah.
it's always like new you, all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel I was drained out because I wasn't giving God the credit that he deserves, and I was trying to take all the credit myself.
That's real.
So yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about that though, the whole feeding the spirit topic, and I was like, well, what do I do to feed my spirit? I don't know. Figured we'd flesh it out on the episode today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of spend, especially last season, every week I would try to spend the week filling myself up as much as possible because I knew I was going to have to pour something out when I sat down. So I would try to just through sermons or through music or through devotionals or through reading the Bible, just whatever, just to pour into myself, podcast, all that kind of stuff. So I think when it comes to feeding your spirit, there's a bunch of different ways you can go about it, but it's different for everybody. So you kind of have to mix and match to see what works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of stuff do you do to feed your spirit?
I definitely need to. I like to sit in silence when I'm feeding my spirit. It depends. It really just depends on my day. But like, I'll sit in silence, or I like to listen to William Augusto. Okay. He's an artist on Spotify, but he is an instrumentalist. I guess if you would call his genre, it's like lo-fi meets like spa. Where it's very relaxing, but he's a Christian artist, so a lot of the titles are like soaking in his presence or like getting into God's spirit or something like that. And they go on for hours. So I like to listen to that type of music, but I will meditate, I'll journal, I'll read my word, I'll go on my walks, even though it's cold outside. I went on a walk this morning and I was like, I actually need to run home because I think I'm gonna get hypothermia. My fingertips are gonna be black. Drama. But I take my walks, and then I really have to cue into my music. Like this whole week, I don't think I listened to anything other than worship music because I was just like, I'm drained, and it's been 2 weeks since the year started. So worship music is definitely my saving grace. And then yes, I listen to teachings, like especially when I'm at the gym. If I'm on the treadmill or the Stairmaster, I'm plugging into a sermon or a podcast. So that's how I feel my spirit, because if not, then I just get so distracted, and then I forget that I'm not a one-woman show. Like I have a whole support system behind me.
That's so real.
I just have to tap into it. I just have to humble myself and be like, okay, I'm not going to be the one that's in charge of this show. Like I have a whole CEO director above me. You know?
I think that's big what you just said, that you're not a one-person show. I'm learning the same thing. Like those around you can help feed your spirit. And I'm discovering that, especially with my sister, who's actually in the room today. Shout out Shay. You know, her and I have begun to cultivate a relationship where we talk about spiritual things together.
I love that.
And I find that a lot of times our conversations fill my spirit up.
Yeah.
So when we get off the phone, I'm like, man, I feel a little bit better now. Like, you know, I got some stuff out of me and she poured some stuff into me. So I feel a little bit better. So I think definitely fellowship is a big way to fill your spirit up.
Absolutely. And that's also another thing for me. Like our e-groups that we meet on Wednesdays. Also shout out, I'm going to be e-group leader this year.
Hey.
For all the young women, you can join my e-group as well. But that's something that I found has definitely helped me, because not only do I watch these sermons on Sundays or even throughout the week, but being able to verbalize what you're receiving and how you can apply it has done wonders in my life and even like my mindfulness throughout the week. Because I could watch it on Sunday, by Tuesday I'm like, oh, I don't even remember what he said sometimes, you know, like just being real. That's how it is sometimes. And then we meet and I'm like, okay, let me actually go back to what I took away from that. And it's like right in the middle of the week for me, where I'm like, oh, wow, I'm actually seeing God move in all these areas since Sunday. That's crazy. And being able to verbalize it with other people who not necessarily have the same thoughts as you, which I think is a beautiful thing. But you can see different perspectives. And be like, whoa, wow, we're all kind of in the same boat in our different lives, you know? So that definitely helps fill my spirit too.
Wow. Yeah. So I heard something once, don't know if it was TD Jakes or not.
Probably was.
Yeah, probably was. But they were talking about kind of the aspects of the human. So we are a spirit, we have a soul, we live in a body.
Yes.
So especially coming from you, I want to ask you, talk about the importance of, although we are spirits, taking care of your physical body, because you can fill your spirit up, but your physical body could still be in a bad position, and then you're still kind of messed up. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I believe heavily that it's all connected.
Yep.
It's all connected. Like I could be strong in my spirit, but then getting up and going to do my everyday things, like going up the stairs, or like if I have to just push myself to do things that I don't want to do,
Yep.
you know, like not saying that it's coming from a place of laziness. It's just a matter of like if I can be my optimal self
Yes.
with my spirit, with my mind, with my body, with everything, my soul, then I'm going to do that, because if I have an opportunity to not drain myself,
Ooh.
then I want to do that.
Yeah.
You know? Like there's a saying that oh, it runs in my family. And then people identify with that, and they get really complacent with that statement.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, yes, a lot of things can run in your family,
Yep.
right? Where you can't control it. It's actually hereditary.
Yeah.
But there are certain other things where it's like, if you did what you needed to do or like could do to fix that, would you do it?
Yeah.
So I like to combat that with, it only runs in your family if you don't run. So if you're not gonna run, then you know you're not helping your chances at all.
Absolutely.
So yeah, as much as I can control it, then yeah, I'm gonna do that. So for me, feeling like strengthening my body is not just me getting aesthetically strong. It's more so like sharpening my mindset at the same time, because I'm pushing through these adversities of like, oh, this rep is heavy, or you know, this cardio I'm tired, but it's like physically I can actually go a little more.
Yeah.
And mentally that helps me persevere through my issues that aren't physical related.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm loving that about the working out early thing, because I have to, although it's a physical thing, I have to rely on my spirit a lot in the morning. So I turn on a guy named David Goggins in the morning. He's a motivational guy. He's a Navy SEAL, has a great story. And usually when I wake up, I turn him on, or E.T., Eric Thomas or somebody. And I'll lay there for a few minutes feeling lazy, and I hear their voice chirping in my ear, and it's like, okay,
Gotta go.
time to get up. So that's usually how I start my day, with one of them. And it really fills my spirit, just because I've heard both of their stories and where they've come from. And it's just like those thoughts start going through your head in the morning, like, yeah, but they got over this, and they pushed through that, and so you can do it. Just like you said, some things run in the family, you have excuses for certain things, but I think a lot of the times we use those excuses to stay where we are, and not do the work to get past that point. So I'm definitely a person now who just loves to endure the process to get over those types of things, those generational curses, those things that you said, like you said, run in the family, or that's, you know, in your friend group or around you. I love the process of, okay, what can I do to push through that barrier? I'll be the one to do it. I'll do the work. I love that so much.
And that kind of comes to like our performance based rationales too, where it's like, okay, if I'm in control of this, then I can do it and I can change it. To an extent, I believe in that. I do. But the other half is where you giving God the opportunity to step in. You know, because we can only do so much ourselves, and then everything else is out of our control. So yeah, when it comes to like God's presence in my efforts, I guess, what does that necessarily look like? Like for me, I definitely have to pray on everything. And I'm actually like trying to get better at that. One thing I'm trying to see, or like even strengthen my discernment, is when I'm making a decision, before I even be like, okay, this makes sense to me, I'm going to do that. Or like, what do I need to gather for me to make this happen? What do I need to learn and teach myself for this to happen? Like I'm trying to find my position, or not even my position, my posture to have that relationship with God where it's second nature for me, for like to just be like, okay, well, God, what direction should I go? You know, or like, how should I move around this? Or even if I don't know, it's like, God, can you teach me? I'd rather learn from him. So for you, do you ever feel like you have, I don't know, like, do you ever feel that discernment in your decision making when you're doing things on your own.
Every day, all day, 24/7,
Yeah.
7 days a week, 365 days a
Work.
year. Like it's to the point now where like if you were around me, it sounds like I'm talking to myself all day
Mm-hmm.
because I'll literally ask him about anything. And I'm always like, God, I'd rather come to you with this than to go into the world and try to find an answer to it. So definitely everything that I do, I try to seek him first, hear his voice, and then just act upon it. I spend a lot of time with the spiritually mature people that I know, sometimes to see if they can confirm something that God told me or, if they can just give me some wisdom, glean some wisdom from them, whatever the case is. But definitely always trying to put God first in every single decision. And it's just like working out. You work that muscle and it just gets better. And then your spirit starts sending off those alarms when things aren't right. And then
Mm-hmm.
it makes it easier to navigate because you're like, my spirit's telling me not to go that way. I
Yeah.
need to go this way. So it just builds up throughout time. Yeah.
How do you, if your advice to somebody who's like trying to figure that out, how would you explain how that feels or what it looks like or how to strengthen that?
In the beginning, honestly, you have to cultivate your relationship with God to learn how he speaks to you, how you hear him. So it's going to be a lot of trial and error in the beginning. I think the first thing is you have to open your heart to want to do that, to allow him to guide you. So it goes back to accepting Jesus not only as your Savior, but as your Lord. And the word Lord literally means your master, which means that he's running the show. So you have to first open yourself to that. And then once you do, then he can start to direct your path. And the Bible talks about, spirit speaking to spirit. So he's speaking to us through our spirits. So we can literally feel the spirit of God within us. It's already there. You just kind of have to learn to tap into it.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's a lot of trial and error. And there's a lot of, some people call it a gut feeling. But I think a lot of times that could be the Holy Spirit. They just don't understand it or
Yeah.
know it. Same with me before. So in the beginning, open your heart up to him, first of all. And then after you do that, just begin to seek him before you make decisions. And over time, it'll get better. Yeah. What was it like in your experience? Going from, I don't know if you didn't do it at all before and then you started to do it. What was that like?
Yeah. So like since in my journey, I feel like I've definitely been more aware of what the spirit feels like internally for me. And it's getting to a point where it's always growing, right? But like it comes to a point where I'm like, okay, I know the consequences of this, or I don't feel really moved to go into this direction.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, or like even in the past, like I would be very diligent on like, okay, I feel like I want this, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna like without any questions, I'm just gonna go and then have faith that it's gonna work out for me, right? In some certain occasions, like when I was moving to LA, yeah, like that worked for me. But then most recently I moved to like Massachusetts randomly and that did not work out for me. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna bring you back home.
Yeah.
So I came back home. But yeah, I mean, for me it would be a sense of like, okay, I'm gonna go out and do this, and then once I got to that position, I would feel that conversation with him afterwards. So it's kind of like you going to your parent and be like, I'm gonna eat this dessert, and then you tell your parent, I ate this dessert, and then they'll be like, oh, that was actually rotten, why'd you eat that? And you're like, well, maybe, they're like, well, you did it already, like you could have asked me for dessert and I could have told you like, no, it's actually rotten, but it's like, oh well. He's like, well, okay, well, you'll wake up tomorrow and you'll feel better. And that's it. Like that's kind of the conversation I would have where I was like, okay, afterwards I go and talk to God after I made this decision without his consent.
Okay.
Right. So now if anything, I'm like, I pray before I make these decisions, or even have like in the middle of these thought processes where I'm getting comfortable with asking questions.
Yeah.
Like, what is this you're trying to show me?
Yeah.
Why am I confused about this? Why am I feeling like I'm struggling? Or like, is this the right move that you want me to take? Because right now it feels good.
Yep.
Is that a good, or is it like a not good? You know what I mean? So I'm learning that in the process, and this is also part of spiritual maturity too, where it's, when to go to God, or not when, but like how in your life to practically go to God,
Yeah.
to make your decisions and make your moves. And that's something that I'm still working through and developing.
Yeah. I like what you said about, how to go to him. One thing that I'm really learning now is like, there's nothing you can say to him that's gonna like surprise him or
Yeah.
catch him off guard or make him gasp.
Right.
You did what?
How dare you?
Yeah. So it's just like, just go to him and be real about whatever is going on. He already knows anyway.
Yeah.
So that brings a big level of comfort when you go to God talking to him like, hey man, I think I messed up. Like, did I mess up? What are you trying to show me? What are you trying to teach me? Can you reveal those things to me? I think that is huge.
And he always does. He always does.
Yeah.
Like anytime I pray that, where I'm like, renew my heart, show me what you're trying to show me.
Yeah.
And then like, if it's not the next day, if it's not the next week, like it always happens. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it always like, not to say it freaks me out, but it just like, it almost impresses me. I'm like,
yeah.
you heard that?
Like,
You heard that. And you did that?
Yep.
Whoa,
Yeah.
I just think it's so cool. I think God is cool.
I had a moment like that the other day, actually.
Really?
Yeah. So remember, I didn't come to E-Group Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I think that was like, I don't know if that was the first one I missed or maybe the second. I don't know. But it was like a big deal for me because I pride myself on showing up for stuff, doing what I say I'm going to do. And Wednesday, when I tell you, I think I had 2 hours of sleep up until that point. And I was literally, you texted me and you're like, I need the files. I had to get some lights from Julian. And I was supposed to see my sister and my niece. And I'm like, I just got to go. And I got off work and I came in the house. I was literally stumbling. I couldn't keep my eyes open. I was like, I got to go. And then I was putting my clothes on and I literally like fell over a little bit. I was like, you can't drive, bro. You can't get in the car right now. You need to go to sleep.
Right.
So I just called my sister. I was like, yeah, I can't do it today. And it was just really bothering me because for the last year, I was just fighting so hard every day. And it was just like, I felt like if I took a moment off, I would just lose or just, fall off or whatever. And the Lord just was really dealing with me this week about rest. And he was like, it's okay for you to rest. And that was just so huge. And I think rest is another way that you can actually feed your spirit, even though you're not actively doing anything. Just resting your mind, resting your body is so big. And I'm starting to learn that. I got in the bed during the day for the first time in a year this week.
Like the sun was up and you went to sleep? Like for the night?
No, just took a nap.
Oh, you call that? Yeah, that's a nap. That's actually what a nap is.
See, I forgot.
Oh,
because I don't ever.
Like I went to sleep during the day.
And I felt so icky doing it. I don't like getting in my bed during the day. I don't like taking naps. I don't know why, but
okay,
it was just a big thing for me to just like feel okay resting. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have issues resting?
No, I love resting.
Okay.
I can take a nap and it's fine.
See, I can't do that.
I used to take naps like right at 2:00. And I would call it a power nap, but it's instead of like, power naps are supposed to be like 20 minutes.
Okay.
My power naps were 2 hours and that was fine.
Wow.
So I haven't done that in a minute though. Just because I've gotten to a place where I can create my own schedule. So I'm not waking up tired necessarily. I pretty much get most of my rest. So, yeah, I don't necessarily need naps right now.
Yeah.
But back when I was like grinding, I was like, okay, it's 2:00. This is why I'm tired. And I would literally just pass out.
Yeah.
So
with your regular schedule, do you ever build in rest? Like just in general, even if it's not sleeping per se, just resting?
I would say my rest, I start my day restfully. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Like I don't need to wait till the middle of the day to take my rest. I'm a very zen person when I wake up.
Okay.
I don't like loud noise. I don't like a lot of words to be spoken to me.
Yeah.
I don't like a lot of like chaos. Like it needs to be still when I wake up.
Yeah, mine's complete opposite.
No. We can't do that. I need like a nice gradual wake up. Wow. Like the sun rises, that's how I have to wake up. That gradually. So I spend like the first 2 hours of my morning just like waking up. And that's usually where I stay in my room for a minute. I brush my teeth, take a shower, whatever I do. And then I turn on my William Agosto. I listen to my calm music. I'll read my word. I'll do a journal, whatever. And that usually takes an hour or so. and then I open my door to come downstairs.
Hmm.
I might get tea in that moment. But yeah, my mornings start restful, and then I'm ready to tackle the day.
That sounds so foreign to me.
No, I can't not do that
That's
because
crazy.
then I'm stressed.
I'm like at war with myself in the morning.
Absolutely not. How do you do that?
I don't know. I just wake up and it's like a war in my mind. It's like it's time to get up and go to work. And then I put my motivational stuff on and I get up and go to the gym. Well, I go to the gym now. But before I used to do the same thing, put the motivational stuff on in the morning and it's time to get up and work. I just get up.
No. I don't understand those type of people. Where they
Why?
they wake up and like, who was it? It was Rebecca. She was talking about like, so if I leave the house at 7:00, I wake up at 6:45.
Okay.
I said, huh?
That's a bit.
Absolutely not. Well, because she works, her job is like pretty much work from home. But she was talking about like, I only need 15 minutes to get up and out of the house. I'm like, absolutely not.
Wow.
I need at least 45.
Mm-hmm.
At least. I can't do that.
No.
But no, I don't really need naps right now.
Okay.
If anything, by the end of the day, sometimes my commute to work is like an hour with traffic. So then I think I can admit I drive on autopilot. I do. And I listen to a podcast, and that's kind of my rest.
Yeah.
Because I don't think about anything else. I'm just listening and filling up and driving. So that's kind of a form of rest for me.
Okay. Are there any other ways that you want to start to feed your spirit? Like any other things you want to start doing maybe that you don't do?
I don't know if it's starting or like getting back to what it was. Because I did, like I said, I did have some really good systems built out towards the end of the year. Doing my walks, that was crucial for me. And I think once it gets cold, I don't like to do cold. I'm a Cali baby. I can't do that. My fingers get cold and I can't function. Wow. So I took a walk this morning. I asked Alexa, I said, what's the temperature, girl? She said, it's 28 degrees. I said, ooh. But we put on like 4 pants and like 3 coats and gloves. And so I went outside. I still got cold, but I was out there for maybe 30 minutes.
Okay.
So my walks,
yeah,
that's really when I connect with God, because we have a nice like forest thing behind our house. So I just go out there and I stare at the trees and I watch the trees and then I watch the birds and like I can hear everything. And that's when I just pray verbally, out like really just like to the open space, and that's when I can connect with God the best. But yeah, I think that's on the list right now.
Yeah. I think I want to kind of like what you said. I want to get back to my intense studying of the word. I still do it every day, but I used to sit there for hours and do it. I kind of want to get back to that and finding time to do that. Sometimes your schedule can get away from you and you don't feel like you have time to do stuff. And it's just like, no, I want to make time for that. So I think going forward, I'm going to get back to that. I used to study like 4 sermons a week minimum. And now I was like, if I can get one in, that's good. So I'm going to try to get back to that.
I will say, I want to get to the point where I can memorize scripture to the point where I can like, cause I can soak it in to the point where I understand what I'm reading.
Okay.
And if it comes out in life situations, whether I'm talking to somebody or like giving advice or just applying it to my own life, I know exactly what the scripture said.
Yeah.
But if you ask me, okay, like where was that in the Bible? I can't give you the page. Like obviously you can't give the page number, but knowing which book it came from and which, chapter and everything, like I can't memorize numbers anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that.
But like, I mean, it doesn't like correlate to my value as a Christian either anyway. But like, if I could just be like, yo, Ephesians 12 verse 4 says this, and this is how you could apply it to your life, like almost prescribing it.
Okay.
Like I'm not that specific.
Yeah.
But I could tell you, the scripture that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
But if you're like, okay, where can I read more about that? I'd be like, oh. Let me actually go see exactly where that is.
Yeah.
I know what it says. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I see the Bible a lot in story. I remember the story more than I do
Right.
the scriptures.
Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of the same way. You know who can wield the Bible like that very well?
Who?
Tim Ross.
Yes,
He
and
can pull a
that's
scripture.
why I was like, I want to be like that.
Yeah,
Like that's
man.
crazy. He's
It's
like
so
Bible
crazy.
time, and he'll open it, and it's like right there. I'm like, how does he do that?
He be like, I'm about to give y'all this work right now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's probably where I'm getting it from. I was like,
Yeah.
I want to do that. That's a new goal. That's a new
Yeah.
goal.
That
But
would be
yeah.
dope. I had a question for you, and then I thought of Tim Ross, and I forgot the question.
Oh darn.
Just let me see if I can get it back. Just
we were talking about walks and
yeah. What was I gonna ask
scriptures
you?
and goals.
Talk about the power of your own words when it comes to feeding your spirit.
Ooh, like self-talk.
Yeah.
Big on this. Big on this. It's huge. It's huge because our tongue literally guides where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me where that is in the Bible.
I was just thinking that in my head. I was like, I wonder if
But
she knows
your
the
tongue
scripture.
is the rudder of your ship.
Yep.
So being very careful with your language is so important. And I even talk about this in my training where it's like, anytime I'm coaching my kids, if we're learning something new, I'm like, don't say can't. Because they'll be like, oh, I can't do that trick. I'm like, don't say that. Because the moment you claim that you can't, your body follows and nothing else will fight to make it happen.
Yeah.
So instead of saying I can't do something, say I'm learning how to do this. And it's okay that I don't have it right now.
Okay.
And so like switching your language to even just that, you're almost saying the same thing. But you're telling your body like, okay, I'm giving us opportunity to learn and be better at this. And it's okay if I'm not perfect at it yet, because I literally just learned this today, you know? And even when it comes to like learning new habits, if you're trying to do something, a lot of us will get stuck in, oh, I'm going to do this. My intentions are to go on this 20-minute walk this week. Oh, I might do it. No, you have to claim it.
Yeah.
Because the moment that you set it in stone, on Wednesday, I'm going at 10 a.m. on a walk in the park.
Yeah.
You're going to do it. Not like, oh, I'm going to try and do it. You're not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's like
You've already given yourself an out.
It's like when somebody asks you to go somewhere and you're like, oh yeah, I'll think about it.
Yeah.
You already know that's a no. That's a strong. Just tell me no to my face, bro.
I'd rather.
You know, just tell me no. You're not coming.
Yeah.
It's okay. So I believe language is super, super powerful when we're speaking to ourselves, because that's also another form that I believe the devil can try to take over. It's a way that he can almost try to tempt us, where he can start to deceive us into thinking that we're not capable, like we don't already have a victory. So to be very meticulous with the language that you speak over yourself, even if you're joking. One way that we also let it in is when we're joking, we're like, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so silly. You know, like, don't do that.
Yep.
Don't do that, because even though you're joking, there's always some truth to a joke.
Yeah.
Right? So then you'll start to believe like, oh, I'm actually, you might not say it like that. Like, I'm so
Subconsciously,
stupid,
yeah.
but you're like, dang, I messed up
That's
and
big.
this is wrong. And now I'm wrong. And something must be wrong with me.
Yeah.
Don't know. Pastor was talking about it today, where he was like, we have feelings as spiritual beings, but we don't have to identify and claim them.
Yep.
So like, say you're starving, right? You come in and like you're starving, you're hungry, you're lacking nutrients, so then your body starts to latch on to other things so it could get its nutrients, right? So in this state of being starving and hungry, you get out of character. We call that being hangry, right?
Yep.
So you start to say things that you probably wouldn't say if you weren't hungry. So then you just claim onto this as an excuse, where it's like, oh, I'm hungry. This is why I'm acting this way. This is why I lashed onto you, because I'm hangry, right? Instead of being, I'm feeling hunger. I detach myself from this emotion because I'm not that emotion, but these are things that I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
You know, so just taking responsibility and ownership over who you are as a being, and then understanding the difference between you as a being and your emotions.
Wow. That's so big. The analogy that I saw while you were talking, you ever seen where they can send like a sound waveform, and there's like a table with salt on it, and the waves make the salt go into a certain pattern, like the specific sound can change it into a different pattern? You never seen that before?
No.
It's the craziest thing. So they'll just sprinkle like salt or something on the table, and depending on what frequency they send at it, it'll turn into a different shape. And I think that's kind of what happens with your own words. Depending on what you say out of your mouth, your spirit can hear it, your mind can hear it, and you begin to form whatever's coming out of your mouth. So it's very important, like you just said, watch what you're, even when you're joking, or
Yeah.
even when, you're just saying something that you don't really mean, you can still turn yourself into a certain shape
Yeah.
by doing that.
I like to say, or there's this, my favorite quote is, whether you say you can or you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? It's like, if I say that I can't, I'm not going to argue with you. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Because you already believe that you can't. You're saying that you can't. Therefore, you probably will never do it.
Yeah.
Right? Rather than, even if I don't believe it, but I'm saying it, eventually I will start to believe that I can do it if I'm saying I can.
Yeah.
Even if I feel like I'm lying to myself, which is like what affirmations can be, especially at the beginning. You're saying affirmations where it's like, oh, I am successful. If you're at a place where you're like at rock bottom and you're saying I am successful, obviously you probably won't believe it. But
Yep.
if you say that every single day, I am successful, you'll start to attract more opportunities.
Yeah.
But you'll start to believe it, and then your confidence will boost.
So you're still leaving the door open to become successful.
Absolutely.
Rather than just accepting.
Be like, I suck. I suck. Well, yeah, you're right. You do suck.
Yeah.
You're
not even giving yourself the opportunity
like,
not to suck.
I can't encourage you because you're just gonna be like, well, I suck then.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah. The only thing you have to do to come down is let go of the rope. TD Jakes was talking about that once. He was saying that sometimes, like when you're climbing the rope of life, only thing you have to do is let go.
Yeah.
If you want to give up, sometimes it becomes hard to hold on to that rope. But
Yeah.
We ready for questions?
Wait.
Oh, you got something?
Yeah, I had something that a spirit was. I'm not really trying to say it, but I feel like a spirit was trying to tell me to say it.
So you might as well just let it out because you can be in trouble with this.
Because this is the whole, like, the topic of this episode goes around what I was feeling this week, and I have to share it. Great. So in terms of like feeding your spirit, right? Where I told you like this whole top of the year, I'm like, okay, these are things that I'm doing. It was very self-performance based. Which is why I got drained, which is why I felt burnt out, because I was doing everything on my own will. That goes in terms of like certain relationships, and I was also feeling burnt out in that arena too. So then I was hangry. Spiritually, I was hangry, and so certain things started to come out of my mouth that normally wouldn't have. And so then I had to just be honest with myself. I'm like, okay, I am not identifying with this starvation that I'm feeling in my spirit, but I am feeling like I'm living in the past. I feel like I'm hoping for things that I used to have but are no longer. And even though I'm looking at this physical presence right now, I realize that that's still not what it used to be. And so why am I still yearning for this thing that I'm starving myself or have been hungry for, right? And so this is how I know the spirit is alive, because literally this night that I said this or admitted to like living in the past and dwelling on this place that used to been, the next morning the Bible app was like used my words, my exact words. Do not dwell in the past. Forget the former things. I am doing something new. Can't you see it? Why can't you see that I'm doing something new?
Wow.
And I said, Lord, why are you going to use my words? I mean, I was using his words, but like still, I was like, what? Like, I don't believe in coincidences. But the Bible app, there's no type of.
All right, you just open it and see what's there.
I was like, what? And so that was just heavy confirmation for me. And it reminded me that I was looking for validation in another person, and I was getting discouraged and disappointed that I wasn't finding that validation in another person. And it also reminded me that, yo, girl, you have validation in the spirit. You have validation in God and in the word, and you don't need to look towards any other human or any other worldly thing to find your validation, because I have it for you right here. Why are you going anywhere else but to me? And so that kind of got me back into like, okay, let me not try to starve this temptation that I'm feeling, because the only way that you can actually cut out temptation is that you fill it with the opposite. So if there's something negative in my life and I keep going, I'm like, why is this negative? Why is this negative? I can't forget about it until I find and focus on the positive. So that reminded me to focus on my spirit and where I get that as my source. And so that's how I'm starting, or not I would say restarting to fill my spirit.
Wow,
feed my spirit.
that's crazy.
So I had to share that one.
Glad you got that off your chest.
Yeah, thank you. Ugh.
It looked like it was weighing heavy.
Yeah, had to let that one out. We can do questions now.
All right. This section of our podcast is called Questions from the Audience, and we're going to see what they got for us today.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
First question. How do you know when your spirit is full or complete versus when it is empty?
I feel like when your spirit is full and complete, there's a different type of confidence that you walk in. Because when it's not, you feel that there's some like a void, there's something missing. And then us as humans, naturally, we will go anywhere to find that filling. Whether that's toxic things or vices or whatever it is, we will go anywhere else to find what that filling is. Rather than, okay, I'm in the spirit, I'm finding my peace, I'm finding graciousness, I'm finding righteousness. And that's what fills me up because now I feel grateful. You can't have gratefulness and feel empty at the same time. So that's when you know when you're feeling that fullness.
Yeah. I would say, I think when I know I'm the most full is when my spirit, when I feel overflow, and that overflow begins to spill on those around me. So my presence, me being around them, me being able to help them do things for them, it begins to flow into their lives as well. So I know I'm full because there's something there to bless other people with. When I know I'm empty, that's a good one. I usually just feel like I'm becoming distant with God somehow. And that's another thing that just, I feel it in my spirit a lot of the times. And I'm like, I don't know if I just haven't talked to you lately. I don't know if I haven't been in your word enough, but I feel like you're a little further away today than you were yesterday. So when I start to feel like that, I know that it's time to get poured into from somewhere. So I'll go to a sermon or Bible study or something just to get some of that spiritual juice. Yeah.
Spiritual juice.
Name 5 specific things you do to nourish your soul.
5. Go ahead. You got it.
Exercise. Music. Fellowship. So friends, family, whatever the case is. Church. And why do you have to pick 5?
That's a great question. Oh, he said those are the same things.
No, I can go to church. I can fellowship with you as a friend, though. Your mic's
Ooh.
not even on, though. No, I don't hear it. All right, you want 2 more things? You go, Key.
No stalling.
I don't know.
Yes,
honestly,
you do. You do know. Think deeper. Thank you.
Okay, you want me to just make something up though?
Don't give him examples.
Food doesn't fill my spirit. I eat chicken and rice.
That's right. It sure don't.
That don't contribute to my spirit. Yeah, that's fellowship though. The podcast is fellowship. That feeds my spirit.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Dang. Trying to build anticipation. Okay. 5 things for me. Self-care. Whether that's like doing my nails, doing my hair, doing like a moisturization routine, some type of self-care. Look good, feel good, you know. Definitely my worship music. That is like my Spotify Wrapped was on point. Okay. Then I would say in my spirit. Creativity. I need to be creating something. And that's actually another goal I had for this year is to create more intentionally and more frequently. Um, let's see. Um, my alone time with God. I like to call it quiet time. That's when I just close the world out, close my door, go outside, whatever, where I'm just me, nobody else around me. And then 5, I would definitely, well, exercising is like self-care to me. Um, uh, getting poured into. Right now, it's like that counts as like fellowship and podcast
Yeah.
sermons.
I do like to read. Maybe I can say that. What'd you say? What is up with your mic? Fix your mic, producer.
The volume's just low.
I don't know.
Y'all can hear me.
But they can't hear you. That's okay.
So, y'all don't think like cooking, right? Like never just sitting there cooking and you just.
I like to eat, but cooking is a chore for me sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I like to do? I love to clean. That feeds my spirit. Yeah, I do. Yeah. But I just like to clean. I'll clean in the quiet. I don't care. Godliness.
There we go. Okay.
What else we got?
How long does it take to find a routine for feeding your spirit?
How long?
I feel like it depends per season. Because, like, for me, one routine doesn't last the rest of my lifetime. Like, I have to be super intentional. And so that's why it's split up into seasons, which I think is why the quarterly thing works for me. So to find a routine, I would say it takes a matter of like a couple of weeks for me to think about it. And then it takes a matter of one day to actually implement it. Like what worked for me towards the end of 2022 was I was like, okay, there's 7 areas of wellness, right? It's like your physical, your spiritual, your financial, your intellectual, your social, and 2 more, like your family and your yeah, occupational. Yeah. So then I would think of like one task per category for the day. So I only have 7 tasks that I need to work on for that day. And I would write them down for the whole week. I wouldn't do one for like wellness every single day. Maybe I would do like wellness Monday, then Wednesday, and then Friday. And then I'd break them up so I'm not overwhelmed. But basically on Sundays, I would write down exactly what I'm doing all the way up through Saturday. And then I would check it off as I go through the day. And that's what really kept me balanced because not only am I seeing what I'm doing for that day, and then marking it off, the more that you mark things off on your to-do list, the more successful and confident that you feel. So then by the end of the day, if I hit like my 5 things, then I'd be like, wow, we had a great day. And I'm not even focused on like all the things that I didn't do because I did the most important things for the day. So yeah, for me, it would be like, okay, let me be intentional let me plan it for a week or two, but then it just takes one day to decide to do it. And then I do it.
It varies for me. I think the routine's always evolving. Some of them last longer than other ones. But I agree a lot with what Keith said. It depends on the season you're in your life. It could come quickly. It could take a long time. It could take, a day or whatever the case is. I think the importance is when you do find a routine, not feeling like you have to stick in it forever, which is something that I dealt with definitely. So I have recently been switching up my routine a lot. And it's like a big mental hurdle to get over because it was like I was kind of stuck there, and that's where I found my steadiness, and that's where I found my peace. And it's like that's changing, so I'm having to learn that it's okay that my routine is changing, but it's growing on me and becoming a little more spontaneous and fluid. And somebody actually spoke into my life the other day, which is crazy. And I was telling them something I think I told you guys at E Group once, that I felt kind of like I was being chased or hunted all of last year. And I initially said, well, in 2023, I want to go on the hunt, on the offensive. And I was telling this to this person during our devotional, and she was basically like, what if God is not calling you to hunt, but rather to start living? Because you've been stuck in a routine for so long, you haven't been living per se. And that just really hit me hard. And I was thinking about it all day. And I was like, you know what? I think she's right. So God was kind of dealing with me, and he was like, you don't have to be at war all the time. Just because you were at war before, or you're going to be, a war wager in my kingdom, that doesn't mean you're going to be at war all the time, nonstop. But it does mean that when it is time for war, you know what to do. So he's like, in between, live a little. I want you to have a life more abundantly and be prosperous in this world. So that's what I'm trying to do. We actually did a little bit of that last night. I just hung out with Tay and Iman for a minute. No set plans. We just kind of winged it, and it was dope. So yeah.
Come on, fun. Not the truth.
Yeah.
So where do you draw the line between having a set routine and being present in the moment? How do you draw the line?
Having a what?
Having a set routine,
Set routine.
or just sticking to a routine and being very strict with that versus being present in your life. How do you manage those?
I'm trying to figure out how to do that right now.
I feel like Calvin and I are very opposites. Where
Yeah.
you're very routine based, and
Yeah.
I'm very like spontaneous.
Yes, you are.
So that's a great question for both of us, like both of our perspectives. For me, I can be very routine, but my routine has to be spontaneous. I guess, where it's like I can't have the same routine every single day.
Yeah.
But it has to be varied throughout my week. So then I don't feel like I'm stuck in the same thing every day. Like I'm living the same life every day.
Yeah.
For me, I almost find the balance in I plan it, where, okay, for this first hour of my day, I'm researching and learning a new skill. For the next 15 minutes, I'm going to take a break. Maybe I'll put like a load of laundry in, and then I'll make like a snack. And then like the next 2 hours, then I'm just going to like watch something that's going to fill up something that's going to be fun for me. Maybe I go like on a picnic somewhere in Old Town, or like if I go to the movies by myself, or like I just plan like a self date for a second, where I can just kind of get out of the house. Because if not, I'm just planning a lot of things and organizing and like running my business and stuff. And I could easily just be a workaholic and sit and do that all day.
Yeah.
So I almost have to schedule it into my day, where I'm like, okay, this is a 3-hour break period where you have to do anything but work. And then I go do that. So that's how I balance it. Yeah, I have to be intentional with it. But then once I'm like, okay, I have 3 free hours, where am I going to go that's not going to remind me of work or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the word you use, Julian, present. I'm learning that I want to have a routine, but I don't want the routine to dictate me. So even within my routine, for example, if I have time where I'm going to sit down and study the Bible, if I get into the Bible and I've been sitting there for 3 hours and my routine says it's time to go do something else, but I'm still enjoying this, I'll be in the moment and I'll just keep doing that. So not allowing my routine to dictate all of my actions throughout the day. Now, if I am ready, I move on to the next thing. But just like you said, being present in whatever moment you're in. So, like, again, last night, we went to do one thing that didn't work out. And we were like, all right, let's go do something else. So it's okay, to just be in whatever moment you're in. Yeah.
We're working on merch, guys.
Yeah, we are.
Working on merch.
We'll be back on it tomorrow. Yeah. Any more? That's it? Nice start to season 2, Key.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have our scripture on the spot.
Oh my God.
So okay, so
It's been a long off season, huh?
yeah, a whole 3 weeks. So for
Wow.
season 2, or for season 1, we were doing the scripture on the spot, where we just open the Bible and let a scripture come out, and then we say like a sermon for 1 minute. So we're changing it up for season 2. We're gonna do a subject on the spot. So instead of going straight into the word, what we're gonna do is say a random subject or title, topic or object or anything,
Yeah.
and then we have to give a sermon on that.
Okay.
Right.
Clarification. Do we also have to attach a scripture to it, or is this just
No.
why you say it like that?
Then I gotta remember where it is. You know, I'm not.
But you said you wanted to get better.
I'm not ready yet.
Okay.
Oh Lord.
right.
It has to be truth based though,
Yeah.
biblical. So.
Okay. All right. You
Wait,
wanna
we'll
go for
still do 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Somebody got a timer? Okay, weird. I'll go first because I feel like your topic is gonna be crazy, so I'm gonna set the tone.
Okay.
Cause you're gonna give something super random.
Okay.
Okay. Your topic for SOS today will be, dog walking.
Dog walking. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Sometimes we are on that spiritual leash with God. And although that leash has some give, we don't want to go too far away from him. A lot of times we want complete freedom from him. We want him to unclip that leash and let us loose. But I am learning that I don't want that. I want my freedom to stray a little bit away from him, but I want to be able to look back and always know that he has his hand on that handle, and that when things get bad, he can click that little button and zip me back into him. So I'm where I'm supposed to be. And I think from the outside looking in, a lot of people can say, I don't want to live my life on a leash like you do. But to them, I say, I'd rather be on a leash than to be in the world alone. It's a leash, but somebody has to be holding that leash. And I am glad that it is the Almighty God.
Work. You are not astray.
Yeah. Whew.
That was a good one.
You gave me dog walking.
I knew you were gonna go there though, so that was a great topic. You killed that. Slay. Work. Okay, take it easy on me though. Give me something really easy. Maybe not. Okay.
I just looked at your shoes, so I'm just gonna go with it.
What?
High heels versus flats.
Oh. This one's for the ladies. Okay. Okay. What? Okay.
That's better than dog walking.
No, it's not. Okay. High heels versus flats, he says. So sometimes you will be on a pedestal where you are on a raised platform. When you're on that platform, you're more likely to be more careful with where you step, how you step, and how you present yourself. Because you're up there and you're more likely to be seen by more people.
Yeah.
Just like a lamp, you wouldn't light a lamp and put it on the floor. You light a lamp and put it up so it could be seen, right? So when you're wearing high heels, you have to walk with a certain posture because if not, it just looks funny, right? However, it's not bad to be in flat shoes because even when you're in flat shoes, you're more grounded, you're more stable to the ground. And even with that, you walk with a similar purpose. You might be a little bit more comfortable, but you can guide or glide at a steady pace without worrying about falling. So you might be more secure. That was what?
That was good though.
That was good?
That was good. Real good.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know where the ending message was going, but
All right.
work. Okay.
That was nice.
Wow.
Nice little start to season 2.
Yeah, season 2, y'all. Episode 1.
Dog walking and high heels and
versus
flats. So
It's great.
that's how we started off today.
Work. All right, y'all. Your practical for this week is to just do something that feeds your spirit.
Yeah.
And just know when God is calling you to come back because he's waiting on you for you to call him.
Yeah. When he clicks that little leash button.
Yeah, he said, "Come on back." Huh?
Zip back in.
Did you get that? Great. Okay.
You need me to do it again? You want me to do it again?
Zoom in, please.
Slow motion.
Thank y'all.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, share if you enjoy the content. We appreciate all of your support. And
We out.
we'll see you next week in the cave. Peace.